So you'll start by cutting out the horn, and I do have a pattern for the horn and the wings at the woodlandelf.com/patterns/wings, but they're also pretty easy to draw freehand. So you want to end up with 2 horn pieces. Just lay those over each other and then sew down one side. Once you've got it sewn, you're going to unfold it, and then you're just going to make upward lines going across the entire length of it. You want to mark off where one ends so that you know where it starts on the other side. And they're horizontal lines, but they curve upwards slightly. And again, marking off where the one ends so you know where the other one begins on the other side. You just want to do that all the way up to the top of the horn. Then you're going to take gold thread and sew along all those lines. So here it is with the gold thread sewn. So once you've got that, you'll just fold it in half with the wrong sides out and sew up the remaining side, then turn the horn right side out. So then just stuff some cotton or quilt batting into the horn. Use a pair of scissors or a pencil to shove it up to the very top. Once you've got all the quilt batting shoved in there, then you're just going to take the hood of your hoodie and you're going to put the horn right in the center of it. And the easiest way to do this is to hand sew around the horn. So just very carefully take some white thread and stitch the horn right onto the center of the hood of the hoodie. And so here's what that looks like with the horn on. And so then for the wings, you'll do the same thing. You'll cut out 2 pieces for each wing. So you end up with 4 pieces altogether. And then you'll want to cut a piece of quilt batting the same size as the wings, 1 for each wing. And then you'll want to cut off 1/4 of an inch of that quilt batting piece you just cut off. Do that to each piece of quilt batting. This will make it small enough to fit inside the fabric of the wings. So then just lay 2 of the wing pieces together, and you're going to stitch around the entire thing except for the small end. You want to leave that open. Just very carefully stitch around the entire wing except for the small opening. Then you're going to put your quilt batting, lay that on top of your stitched together wing fabrics. Then you just want to pin that onto the wings only on the top layer. You don't want to go through both layers of the fabric, just one layer of fabric. So once you've got it all pinned in place, that's just going to hold the quilt batting in place while you turn the wings right side out. You just want to make sure you don't poke your fingers when you're turning it right side out. You may need a pair of scissors or a pencil to push out the wing tips, or just wiggle them out with your fingers. And then of course remove all the pins from the inside of the wings. So if you're using the pattern, just take a pair of scissors and slice along all the fancy lines. If you're drawing your own, then you can just draw them directly onto the fabric. Then you just want to take a pencil and follow those slices that you just made. You can barely see it here, but you're transferring that onto the wings with the pencil. And then you'll just sew along all those lines with some gold thread. And so then just pin those onto the back of your hoodie. And then you're going to sew them on with gold thread, but only going 1/3 of the way up the wings, because you want them to hang loosely off the edges. So then cut yourself a long rectangle of white fabric, and you're going to stitch that starting at the top of the hoodie just behind the horn. You're going to fold the hoodie around it and then stitch it from the inside to lock the piece of material in place. And then you're just going to take a pair of scissors and cut a bunch of 1/2 inch fringes out of that piece of material while it's still connected to the back of the hoodie, and that will be your unicorn's mane. And so then here is the finished hoodie.